Imagine this. For hundreds of thousands of years, your family has never planted a single seed. You don't own land. You don't wake up worrying about crops. Every morning, you simply follow the animals, gather wild fruits, dig up roots, catch fish, and move on. Life is hard, but it's familiar. Then, almost overnight in the grand timeline of human history, everything changes. People stop wandering. They begin clearing forests, planting seeds, waiting for months, protecting tiny green shoots from animals, building permanent homes, and for the first time, they gamble their future on the soil beneath their feet. But why? Why would anyone abandon a lifestyle that had worked for over 190,000 years? Was hunting no longer enough? Did ancient humans suddenly become smarter? Did a great disaster force them to change? Or was farming one of history's greatest accidents? Today we're traveling back to the end of the last ice age to uncover one of the biggest turning points in human history, the moment our ancestors stopped chasing food and started growing it. Because without farming, there would be no villages, no cities, no kings, no empires, and perhaps no modern civilization at all. The world before farming, for nearly all of human history, people were hunter-gatherers. Small bands of 20 to 50 people traveled together. They hunted deer, antelope, wild cattle, and smaller animals. They fished in rivers and lakes. They collected berries, nuts, roots, mushrooms, and edible plants. Their world was always changing. When food disappeared, they moved. When seasons changed, they moved again. This lifestyle required incredible knowledge. Ancient humans knew hundreds of plants. They understood animal behavior. They could predict seasons by watching the stars and weather. Hunter-gatherers weren't primitive. They were expert survivors. For thousands of generations, this way of life worked remarkably well. Then the climate changed. Around +11 700 years ago, the last ice age came to an end. The world grew warmer. Huge glaciers melted. Rainfall patterns shifted. Grasslands expanded in some places. Forests spread into others. Animals changed their migration routes. Some giant ice age mammals disappeared forever. The environment our ancestors had relied on for thousands of years was transforming, and with it, human life had to change too. Food became less predictable as climate stabilized. Some wild food sources became more seasonal. Certain hunting grounds no longer produced the same animals. Large game became harder to find in many regions. Communities had to work harder to gather enough food. Some groups discovered that returning to areas rich in wild grains provided a dependable harvest. Every year, the same grasses grew again. People began spending longer periods in these fertile places. Without realizing it, they were taking the first step toward farming. The accidental discovery. Imagine harvesting wild wheat with simple stone blades. As people carried bundles back to camp, some seeds fell onto the ground. Months later, fresh plants appeared in the same place. Perhaps someone noticed. Perhaps someone became curious. What if we placed the seeds ourselves? That simple question may have changed history forever. No single person invented farming. It likely emerged through countless small observations made over many generations. Experiment after experiment, season after season, ancient humans slowly learned that seeds could become tomorrow's food. Staying in one place, once people planted crops, leaving became difficult. Seeds needed time. Fields needed protection. Harvests required patience. Families began building stronger shelters. Storage pits appeared. Clay containers protected grain from moisture and pests. For the first time, entire communities remained in one location for years instead of weeks. Permanent villages were born. The first crops, different regions domesticated different plants. In the Fertile Crescent, people cultivated wheat and barley. In China, rice and millet became essential. In the Americas, communities domesticated maize, beans, and squash. Each region found crops suited to its climate. These plants gradually changed through human selection. People unknowingly saved seeds from the healthiest and most productive plants. Generation after generation, wild species slowly transformed into crops. Animals joined the farm. Plants weren't the only living things humans domesticated. Goats, sheep, pigs, and later, cattle. Instead of hunting animals whenever possible, people began raising them. Domesticated animals provided meat, milk, hides, wool, and eventually, strength for pulling plows and carrying heavy loads. Agriculture became a partnership between humans, plants, and animals. Farming came with a price. At first glance, farming seems like an obvious improvement, but it wasn't perfect. Farmers often worked longer hours than hunter-gatherers. Crop failures could cause devastating famine. Living close together allowed diseases to spread more easily. Poor harvests threatened entire villages. Farming offered stability, but it also created new risks. Ancient humans accepted those risks because successful harvests could feed far more people than hunting alone. Population began to explode. Reliable food changed everything. More children survived. Communities grew larger. Villages expanded into towns. Towns became cities. As populations increased, new jobs appeared. Some people became potters, others became builders, metalworkers, priests, traders, leaders. Farming allowed society to become more specialized than ever before. The birth of civilization. With permanent settlements came remarkable inventions: writing, mathematics, calendars, irrigation systems, monumental architecture, governments, trade networks. These achievements weren't created overnight. They grew from the stability that farming provided. When not everyone needed to search for food every day, people gained time to invent, to create, to imagine. Civilization itself took root in fertile soil. Did humans choose farming, or did farming choose humans? Some historians ask an unusual question. Did humans domesticate crops, or did crops domesticate humans? Think about it. Once communities depended on wheat, they had to protect it, water it, harvest it, store it, plan their entire year around it. Instead of wandering freely, people now organize their lives around growing plants. The relationship transformed both humans and crops forever. The revolution that never ended. The first farmers could never have imagined the future. Their tiny fields would eventually lead to kingdoms. Their grain stores would support vast cities. Their experiments with seeds would feed billions of people. Today, nearly every meal we eat carries the legacy of those ancient pioneers. Whether it's bread, rice, corn, vegetables, or fruit, the roots of modern life stretch back to those first courageous farmers who believed a tiny seed could shape tomorrow. When we ask, why did humans suddenly start farming? The answer isn't a single event. It wasn't one invention or one genius. It was a slow transformation driven by changing climates, careful observation, curiosity, and the endless human desire to survive. Our ancestors didn't know they were beginning an agricultural revolution. They simply searched for a better way to feed their families. Yet those simple choices changed history forever. From wandering hunter-gatherers to settled farmers, from small villages to mighty civilizations, from scattered camps to the modern world, every loaf of bread, every bowl of rice, every field of wheat is a reminder of a decision made thousands of years ago, a decision that reshaped humanity forever. If you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest turning points, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more fascinating stories about ancient humans, lost civilizations, and the discoveries that built our world. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring the past, and remember, sometimes the smallest seed can change the course of human history.